All right, I welcome everybody to the June meeting of the Technology Advisory Committee. It is our last meeting with two of our founding members here. So we got a quick agenda, I believe. And first of all was to review the meeting minutes from 2 months ago. Has everybody had a chance to look at them?
Good.
Any comments, updates, changes? All right, then I would say the minutes stand as approved. Next items are just quick updates on some of the things that we've been talking about for a while. Brian, I think most of these are yours.
Yeah, the chopper camera update. Ryan Hawk, along with a couple of officers, have been looking through the plans. Obviously, we got some quotes.
Yep.
We've met with a couple people just to try to understand all the technology options that we have in place.
Yep.
And what we might do. I think at this point where we're going, and we're checking with our solicitor on our best option is doing some type of request for proposal. Because it's going to be over $48,000.
Yeah.
And cover all our bases there, but also write it up in a way that is make sure we get the proper legal technology.
Good.
Through that. So Jeff and Ryan are working through that, and then at some point we'll put that out for bid.
What's your time frame?
I mean, we'd love to, as soon as it's done, we'll have it out. So I'd love to have it in, by next month. I hope it's out and advertised, and we're making a decision on it at least by the beginning of August.
Is there anything we can be doing to help with that?
I think I'll send it to you guys once we have the draft
Okay.
and see what you guys have to say. And I know, Joe, you sat in on one meeting that we were trying to figure out some options with some reps from
It's basically, I mean, it's easier to say it's basically Samsung, whatever Samsung rebranded their camera line and some
Oh, did
other
they?
name,
Okay.
but it's a Samsung.
is it
camera.
Yanhua or
Yanway or
Yeah,
Conway or
Conway, yeah.
something like that.
Their service terrible, Samsung.
Well, it's the Samsung doesn't, I mean, the manufacturers don't actually service the cameras. So it's really. And there was, it's escaping me what the other purchasing group was, like CoStars. There's some other. Sourcewell.
Is a much more used federal
Okay.
program.
Yeah.
We're technically members because sometimes our mechanic buys things through Sourcewell.
Okay.
So
And the cameras were an awfully good price going through
I bet they would be.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Samsung cameras out there.
Okay.
So it might be able to. Again, they'll put the RFP out.
You've not heard anything bad about, I mean, all over consumer magazine saying, don't buy anything from Samsung because of this, because of this, because of this. Above all, their service, especially kitchen products.
Well. Becomes what really is Samsung at that, what Samsung is it at that point?
Okay.
Like I can say at least on the IT side, like. Samsung makes some of the best SSDs out there that don't fail.
Well, you probably know that better than I do.
Good screens.
Good screens, like, yeah, I mean, maybe the consumer side is not so good, but the business enterprise.
Okay.
North Allegheny, I think all of North Allegheny's cameras are Samsung.
and there's also a piece that they have to meet the federal requirements.
Right.
For the National Defense Act or something.
Section 889.
Yeah.
There's a list of,
And there's not a whole lot of manufactured cameras that do meet that due to how many cameras are made in outside of the United States.
All right. Okay.
All right, cool. Anything else on traffic cameras? Any other questions? All right, next topic, website.
Website update, we have a question. They have sent us a little bit more detailed website, like it's probably built out as much as it would be, but I'm not happy with the menus right now.
Okay.
So I've asked John to come up with a better option and maybe change a couple of the buttons to make it work a little cleaner. I was worried that it kind of looked like we were just freshening up what we already had, and I didn't want to see that. So that's on John's desk right now. I've asked him that by the end of this week I get a plan from him. RJ and I are going to review it with him at that point,
Okay.
make some changes of our own. At that point, I'm going to share it with staff, department heads before we take it to the advisory kind of group that said they wanted to take a look at it and get some input there.
All right, cool. So moving along, after they fix what they. what you didn't like.
Yeah, basically, if I send it to everyone right now, you go, why the menu set up that way? So I need that fixed.
Understand?
Yeah.
All right, any comments or questions on the website?
July, August, and then
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have it out July 1st.
Okay.
But I don't want to make any promises on that.
Let's see this look nice. I mean, we've spent enough time and these.
notice I said July,
I
August.
know. August.
Well, they start moving things around and then it turns into
That's
Yeah.
what it always
like
does.
some.
I had a dream of having Tracer and everything ready June 1st, and we're not quite there.
All right, anything else on the website?
Yeah, get it done.
Not here, but how is Tracer going?
We just went live today with payments and being able to get your permit through that part of the system.
Yeah,
So there were some bumps today, but that was kind of expected.
that's expected.
Yep.
That's expected to work through for the first week or so.
Yeah.
Okay,
So next step is still, they're building out some DPW stuff and what we might be able to do with the fleet management
okay,
and the 311, then we'll kind of float off of that.
got it. All right, next topic was the IT RFP update. What is it? First of all, on the whole IT side,
Mhm.
payroll, is that? Did you
We-
make a decision and,
Yes, we are, we haven't signed anything yet, but we are gonna go with ADP.
okay,
We're working through some things that we asked to get a little bit better customer service options. It was the right price. And we want to get that in place after we have a union negotiation hearing that's taking place in June. After that, we'll be able to kind of really get through the steps of putting payroll in place.
okay.
And then we can hire the HR person that we'd have advertised out there.
So you're trying to get that wrapped up in July?
Hopefully, the end of June, we would be ready to implement it because it's about a 2-week implementation.
Okay, so this,
Yeah, probably the second week of July then.
yeah,
Yeah.
by the time you get through all that, so first or second week of July.
Yeah.
Okay.
The finance department right now, both by being down a staff member and some other things that don't always come up, have been pretty busy with handling that stuff.
Okay, all right, so that's payroll. Tax. The moving forward, how's the migration to the tax?
I don't have an update on it, but
Okay.
I'll get that.
Okay.
There's no complaints at this point of whatever we're going through, but I don't know what we've implemented yet.
All right, well, I'm just curious, so as I'm taking
Yep.
down through my head of what we had.
Should be the cleanest one.
That was-
Yeah, that's why it's not even one that I've asked about because
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then on the finance side. The RFP and, this IT is this, right?
yes, so the IT RFP update is for managed services
The
and
managed services update, okay.
the other.
Which is the draft that Tricia just gave to me. I'll forward to everybody here to take a peek at. She's got a couple things she's got questions on. When I looked at it, it looked like, I think some of the counts of users is at 77, that's a lot of users. Just don't see where that's coming from.
We're still new.
I mean, that's how many employees, well, plus council, but Public Works doesn't have them.
Right. So anyway, Tricia we talked briefly when she popped her head in, is gonna double check on that as well as a total of 53 total workstations. I think
Okay.
that has to include police,
Oh, yeah.
which doesn't say that's, so that might be total. So she's just gonna get some clarification on the numbers on this.
Yeah, I believe we asked for clarification on what
Are those
equipment they had listed.
Are those workstations in the police office
And
and in the cars?
30, so it says here 35 workstations down in police. And then the total is another, looks to be 53 to make, but it's under administration and public works town council, so it's sufficient that they've combined.
Yeah,
That's, so we need to make sure these numbers are correct.
Yep.
Versus-
Wait, I'm sorry, you said there were 35 stations down there,
Yes. That's probably including cars.
including cars.
yeah, I would think that's every,
I don't think there's room down there for 35 stations.
no, it's
It's gotta include cars,
the laptops.
and the laptops and their cars.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that also includes the security camera system,
And how many cars do we?
I don't know. I don't know the exact number.
10, 12,
I
Yeah.
thought we had 12.
That's about right, 12, I think.
somewhere in the ballpark.
I thought we had 12. Workstations.
I've been in there in a while. but
Remember that, yeah, down. But these numbers, so the net is these numbers on here need to be clarified.
I'll
50
check on that. That's
50
Yeah, that's what we're-
sounds-
yeah, we're doing that.
53 sounds about right, when you include
50
everything upstairs, downstairs and
There's-
over there.
Yeah.
53, but I'm
But-
70 something.
Well, and
That's the number of users.
that's the number of, yeah. It's the number of employees, but that's probably more like 60,
Yeah,
because I think you said there, or she was in and said 17 for the public works don't even have an email.
right. So,
Start, there's about, well, 60 sounds about right, because there's what, 30
I
officers.
would still check on that downstairs. There's
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole,
check
Yeah.
all the numbers in
Only
here.
50, 35 computers.
And the other,
There's some mix up in the breakdown, but the overall sounds like it's
Total.
about right.
this total number up top could be, but we need to double check on that. The other thing I'm gonna ask when I respond back to Tricia is double check on the number of Windows 7 machines, because it says we still have 3.
Okay.
We think we know of 1, but I'm not sure we should still have 3, because that's a security goal.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, it's a security hole unless it's not
Connected,
on the internet.
yeah, if it's just sitting off by itself in its own little corner, that's fine.
One of them could be the HVAC controller.
It could be.
I thought you were gonna say our bad. You know, it's not that our mad pornography guy that appeared at our meeting.
No, not that. I mean, a lot of times when those Windows 7 ones are, they're like that.
They're a control-
HVAC.
they're a controller of some kind, but
Yep.
that's another, just to double, since
Yep.
it popped up,
The card access, yeah.
make sure it's not connected to anything. And then there's some security stuff that she asked us to check into, which. These guys took a quick peek at, again, I'll send you the whole thing and we'll see, but that is probably true. We probably need to have this piece that's in red here.
Yep.
Because of the latest security requirements, so. That's probably something that the police requires, but we will review that
thank you.
and get it back very quickly. Because I leave on Friday. Going to Alaska.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a little too cold for me.
Okay, so we'll get this done. What's your target on, you want to get proposals out June 30th? All right, so we need to flip this around real quick. We can do that.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else before we get into discussion about what do we think we should, where this committee should go next?
No, I mean, we touched on everything that we've been working through and
And I
Still
hate
future.
to keep putting this pressure on Brian, but I still want to see timelines. I'm so tired of timeline. It just. It's like I said, it's the same thing like NA, you know, if you didn't put a timeline on it, people will procrastinate. And they'll find every excuse in the world why they can't do it, but if we actually set a date and say, this is it, boom, you're getting your training, that's it. I know that sounds easier said than done, but it can be done.
Mhm.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
I'm only on here, what, a year now,
And
and you all have been on how long? And it's
Yep.
still going on, so. I know you're new, but you can't be new.
I'm not that new anymore. Yeah, I can't use that shit
August,
forever.
you're not new anymore.
Yeah,
no, that's why we want to know kind of the dates, like especially with this IT, when do we need to look around? Yeah, a lot of that, the dates, have to come from the internal team who's physically doing it. We can set dates, but being an advisory committee. A lot of this is internal stuff.
Right.
Any other topics that you all have? Before we discuss where we're going, and I think this reason Brian and I had a conversation. With the fact that we are a 5-member committee, 3 of them whose terms are up at the end of the month. So this is the perfect time to figure out where do we go next. When we were brought into place 4 years ago, 4+ years ago. There was an awful lot of work that needed to be done. We didn't have the right we didn't have the right contract for support services. You know, we hadn't done any analysis, there hadn't been conversations had as to where does the town need to go? What are the things we need to focus on? There really wasn't any plans at all for information technology, whether it be internal as well as discussions with the body cams, traffic lights, as well as what we're doing with the license plate readers. We've done all that, and you're in right now in implementation mode.
Mhm.
So I'll just throw it out there. We don't need 5 people to sit every month.
I concur.
We don't. The town doesn't. The town has made tremendous progress. We've accomplished a lot of the goals we were put in place to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's been big changes thanks to the work here. But there's not big changes that are gonna continue. There'll be things that, but at the same time, I think you and I talked about, I don't wanna see. Not having a tech committee, and do we go down to a concept of maybe 3 members, make it ad hoc, meet quarterly and or as needed? I think those could be some options to throw
So
out there.
those are the kind of things that, we wanted to kick around a bit today with the key members here. Kathy, you, Mike, you and I are still here, And I know you two have been a tremendous, core to this team. And what's happening here. What are your recommendations?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Drop it to 3, go quarterly, and as needed, makes a lot of sense.
Well, and again, if it's ad hoc. It can be 3, it can be 2, it can be 10, like
Mhm.
As
whatever.
long as you don't have 4 council members, pretty much.
Right.
You can,
I mean, whatever need, if it's a little more flexible, because I feel like it's the same way, like. There was a lot accomplished in these 4 years and they
Right.
kind of. Just continually revisiting the same things. Kind of, I feel like, the last 6 months has been kind of. Just rehashing the same
I
thing.
think we're gonna be. I think we will really need to have some focus when we start to renovate this building. Because I think we need to come up to speed with some of the new things that are happening with technology, especially, that's a perfect opportunity to do that.
And speaking of timelines, when do you think that's gonna happen?
Well, we have money to start doing, we're doing the windows and we're doing the HVAC, and then I think, did we write another grant? Do some things with the other building?
I haven't done any other grants for this building. I know that I hope because we got the grant money that I might be able to put some money into this room. And also maybe do a little bit. A better setup to move that station back there and something like that. That would be technology related. I mean,
But that's not long term, that's not where we need multiple weeks and the rest of that, that's. you need to
No,
have it
when they
by-
start to just do things in the building, I think we wanna put in. I'd say state of the art, I would just put anything in.
Right,
I mean, if we're gonna renovate the building. I think we put- But that's me.
No, I would agree. I think. Big picture, I don't know what. Wholesale renovations. I have planned at this point. Now, I do know that generally speaking, when they wired this last time, I think we at least have the T7. Does that make sense? What kind of Ethernet cable would we,
Yeah,
Cat, sorry, the Cat 7?
be surprised.
That's excessive.
Yeah. I'd
So
be
probably just
surprised
Cat
if-
5.
I'd 5E or 6.
Okay.
Probably.
I know when I asked PM Computing about that, because when we change, like the HVAC, since we're not gonna be changing the venting system,
Right.
there's not gonna be as much work up there. And especially since we've gone to more wireless stuff, there isn't as much need to run stuff because we've run a decent amount and you actually can get across this whole building until you get to the addition through the ceiling. So it's not a crazy,
But if we're gonna do something in this room, I mean, if we could get these cameras situated. a
Oh,
little
yeah.
better,
I would love to do that. So
So you are gonna have some hardwire.
Hardware is.
Not for important stuff.
not for anything that needs really bandwidth and response time and the rest of that hardwire system. So. Do I hear motions then, I guess, is where, where are we going
I
next?
think we'd be making a recommendation to council, right? That's probably the best suggestion, which is like, hey, this is what we think. Makes sense for council to, because we'd have to adjust our. It might be an ordinance,
Yeah, there's-
creating the
there's
tech
something
committee.
Out there, that you- that's a good job.
Yeah, and I had asked our solicitor to look into it just earlier today, so like I didn't
Okay.
have more detail on. What we have to do, but at some point, there's a council action on that. But I think that's a recommendation that the tech committee can make here today. And take it.
What do you think, Ken?
I think it's a great idea.
I mean, I think 3, and if we have the right 3, the third one I would want is somebody with security background. Right, well, both of you leaving is big holes, but
Anybody know Adam Howard? He's been contacting me about wanting to be on this committee. Supposedly put in an application.
how many applications do we have?
That's what I was looking for here. I know I had the one.
I think that was his name.
Yeah, Adam. And then
Is it Howard?
Adam Hallett. And there was also a Robert Bauer. So
Did we interview Robert before? I thought that was Robert. It could be, I could be mistaken. Anywho, but that, and I'm open for my recommendation is that. Take it down to 3, get Mike, get myself, and somebody who's really strong on security. Hey, Mike, how strong are you in security?
That's not my strength.
So, that's what I think we need to do, which means that maybe we stick with 2, we revamp whatever's out there. I haven't seen what their resumes and the rest of it are. I don't know what their skill set is.
yeah,
But that's what I'm thinking. So,
Yeah, I would say. Minimum of 3 and ad hoc,
and then we can pull in others who might happen to know a little bit about what we've been doing here.
I mean. I just got done with the 1-year stint on the North Allegheny one, and that was more ad hoc,
Yeah,
and it worked well. Because it wasn't even consistent, it was like. We
Yeah, I
met
need-
like 2 or 3 times in September, October, November, when the whole. Student information system stuff was going down,
right,
and then we maybe had 1 in January, and then I think we had like. 2 in March, April,
right.
but it's only like when there needs to be. It's only when it needs the help, like. Or wants input or however, so. A little flexibility with how you use it probably matters more than.
which is what I would think. The as needed is important to me, because if we had something come up.
So the question would be, what can we put into whatever ordinance or whatever it is? To put that flexibility in there. That we could pull in the right folks.
Yeah.
Maybe we've got 4 of us, that you have contact points, right? And then we can.
Yeah.
Less of a standing committee and more pool of
Yeah,
resources.
Yeah, just a small standing committee, and then, folks we know we could reach out to if need be for something.
I mean, if it becomes ad hoc, then if you write it up the right way, council or. Brian can call the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the action here would be, a recommendation that council. Looks to make a change to the technology committee. With recommendation to move it to an ad hoc committee with 2 or 3 members. To meet on an as needed basis.
And then with the ability that we will pull in as other resources as needed, depending upon whatever the project might very well be.
Yeah.
I mean, if we did it 2 or 3, that you could leave Mike behind for the time being.
Yeah.
As just kind of the focal points here until we see how this all unfolds. What do you think about that, Kathy? That gets us out of that way. We're not going through another round of interviews with somebody that I don't know when we're gonna necessarily need that skill.
I think it's fine. I agree with you, you need someone with security.
we need to reach out to somebody and maybe like.
I think I think it's still be a resource.
Right.
Yeah,
You know, help.
I'd like to reach across this table
Yeah.
and convince you to stick around.
Well, Stephen, but on, as it said, on an ad hoc basis, there's really not much. Unless there's something that you think they should be doing now in the last final parting words before you're officially off, but
The PM seems to be doing an okay job.
yeah. So, which is what you want. What you want.
It went from basically no security to
I still,
reasonable.
I still think, maybe this is under other business, but I still think we need to get that mainframe in there out of that.
We talked about that at our first.
Yeah, out of the kitchen.
I mean, just the dust, I mean.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta have air, it's good air, so. If you're looking at doing stuff here,
That's.
get
Yes,
that out of there. Get
I agree.
nice closet, air conditioned, keep the dust out.
I mean, the mini splits are cheap. You can find a corner somewhere. It's not really that expensive to rework the network wiring. I mean, there are things that can move it up and, I mean, it's less than that.
I mean, even where it is, it's not like you couldn't build a wall around it. And make
Yeah.
it work to some degree,
Yeah,
because it's space we're not using currently. So it's not like it would take anything away.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought, like in a simple answer, quick. Something like that with some vent options to keep the air
mhm.
filtered and
Do
clean
we
and
have
cool.
any other hubs or no? We have other hubs in the building or other buildings
Downstairs, yeah, downstairs.
in the police?
In
If they're,
this side somewhere.
they got a server and now they have all their stuff for their body worn cameras. And
I
whatever
mean,
server
that's at
brings in all
least in a
that,
secured room.
yeah.
And you don't have water problems and you don't really have temperature problems.
Right.
So I mean, down there, it's fine. I mean, you're right up here, just
Wide open.
throw a wall around it with a door that either ties into the fob system or its own kind of standalone, so you have some logging of who goes in and out.
You could do that.
Get it done.
Get her done.
Anything else, Kathy? Get her done. Poor Brian, every time I call him, I say, get it done.
All right, well, I think we are all in agreement then.
Okay.
That this is what our recommendation.
Yeah.
Council.
And y'all did a great job. You really have. I mean, I remember coming in my first meeting, I was like, we don't? Joe's looking at me like, where you been?
And by the time you got here, it was better than it was. It
A lot.
was a lot better than it was.
And I've been like, especially, and I don't think it's just a generation thing, but when I got to in Avalon as the assistant manager, and the joke there was I was the IT person, just because I think I was in the age bracket that understood how computers work. And we wrote a grant from the state. We got all new computers, new servers, properly done up, separated properly from the police department.
Right.
All that type of stuff. So, and that was a big change. So these were big changes that happened in McCandless, and sometimes tough to change when you've been doing things a certain way for a long time. So. And I was working on that in New Swift before I left too. So they're gonna have all new computers probably in the next 2 years.
But. Good. All right, do you need me to write up something for this?
No, I can
Okay.
put something together. I think we have, we're all in enough of agreement. What I was kind of going with the motion, we can write something up. I'll send it to you as a draft if we want to send it to everybody.
They might ask what the premise is, why are we proposing this? And we have to have an answer for that.
Because we basically talked about the same thing over and over again for 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a knock on not getting it done. It's just. I don't know.
Our
I'll
usefulness,
pat myself on the back a little bit, Craig on the back of, we were efficient in the 4 years, it got a lot of stuff done.
and a lot of things were implementation of. You know, even the things we haven't totally decided upon, like the financial package. You've gone through it and we've analyzed it enough so that now the final decision, you know, the team can make.
Mhm.
They don't need our input to make it. We don't need to drag, and part of it is you don't need to wait for us to be making decisions.
I don't think that was ever the problem.
I was trying to be nice.
The IT in the police department is further ahead than it
Oh my
was. The
gosh, yeah.
cameras are coming.
Yep.
The body cameras are.
They're implemented and being used.
They're actually using them.
Yes.
Yes, they're using.
Now, again, I understand that too, was the complexity of the grant.
The whole phone systems.
The phone
The
system.
the phone system is new. We updated the support systems now, which, so.
Yeah, I think that's something we should do. I think we should write up what the accomplishments have been. And I think that needs to be presented to council. I really do, because I think they're clueless. Other than what we tell them when we go to our meetings. But I mean, just to let
Right.
them know what the accomplishments have been.
And I mean, there's only one or two that have been here through.
Can
A
you
lot of
write
these
for
changes.
something? If you ask for something that, maybe that would be good. And then Brian, what you could say is, this is all the stuff that has been accomplished.
it might
For
be
the
a
last several months, this is what's been happening. It's just like a little hamster running, all those little,
How about I'll do a basic and you can add to it for things that I haven't been here for. How's that?
That would
Yeah.
be helpful.
Yep.
Because I literally could get on a plane on.
Yep,
Wednesday.
I was,
Or-
that's what I was thinking, yeah.
They weren't even on Office 365.
No, they were not. But they
So, I
had it,
mean-
but they weren't using.
Right. So, I mean. That was early on too.
I go back through all my,
Yeah, there's
all the.
big things. and
Was there
that-
ever an @AOL.com email address here?
I think those were all gone, but.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember.
I still don't understand why names haven't been changed. On the phone and on the computers. I'm still Angela Woods.
On the phone?
Yes, my phone
And
is Angela.
that's been, let me check on that. That's been submitted multiple
My phone
times.
is Angela Woods and I gave my computer back. I just used the iPad.
Mhm.
And it still says Angela Woods. And same with some of the other council members.
Okay, but that was one of the reasons we changed to given like Mary Ann has, her email address is different than everybody else's, because instead of being the ward. It's more standard. And I think that was one of the reasons.
I don't know, but
I thought. First I ever heard of it.
Yeah.
I don't have my phone here, actually, which my
No,
phone did
they
the
did.
same thing again. It went to that block and tried those numbers again. I don't think something wrong with that phone.
I mean, in the long run, that's better with their name. The user accounts are unique.
Yes,
And you attach the word alias.
Yeah, you can just attach the word to the name.
Exactly. I mean, I have one that's town manager that all goes to me too. You can.
Yeah.
Aliases in 365 are easy.
I mean, technically, the reusing of the same username is. For different people, it's not.
Not, yeah,
It's not a good security practice.
yeah. But I think that was a recommendation from PM to not do that. So
Yeah.
When I come Friday, I'm gonna bring you that stuff.
you bring it in.
Angela's name's still on everything.
Okay,
All right, any other business we have this evening?
I'd like to thank both of you for everything you've done
Thanks, Rob.
for your
I would like to.
years on term, but I'll let you guys say more flowery things, but just want to say thanks.
No, you guys have. It's been fun for the last 4 years. We've kind of been this. It has gone fast. We did a lot of things. We did a lot of, we had articles that we wrote, a lot of security stuff for the town prior, for McCandless and me. No, not McCandless and me. You know what I mean?
McMahon,
McMahon, thank you, thank you. We have done a lot. You have done a lot. So thank you for all that you've done.
Thanks for keeping us organized.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is
Thank you.
This is great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's better than when we started, so.
So probably the next meeting, you're gonna bring this up.
so I could put it on the agenda for Monday, or I could put it on the next.
Sooner the better, and then. You put things behind.
Cause we should, considering that we have out there right now that we are still,
Yeah,
advertising
advertising for an openings.
exactly, we should shut it down.
Yep.
Right, thank you all.
Thank
So
you.
you're gonna discuss it in public on Monday night or?
Yeah, I'll put together this memo. I'll run it by you. And then I'll throw it in with the packet. But I'll throw it on as part of new business. On the agenda.
Forward it to you guys too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm around tomorrow. Packing, but then we do leave Friday morning. But I'll have, we're flying up to Fairfield. I'll have a lot of time on laptop and
I'd have to excuse myself. I have hospital people.
go,
Yeah,
go,
go.
thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
I'll see you on Friday
Okay.
afternoon sometime.
Yeah, what time you want
I
to meet?
can.
Whatever's good for you.
Do you want to do like
Okay.
10?
'Cause I'll be-
I think the afternoon is
Yeah.
a little better. if
That
possible.
will work. All right, well, do I hear a
One?
motion that we are
Okay.
adjourned this evening? And a second, so may I will say we are now adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You can stop recording. Oh, good.